Hey, so there was a part one to this, so if you haven't watched it, then go watch it if you want to understand. Or don't. I can't really tell you what to do.
The UK demanded Germany give them the land as they needed corn, which was denied by Germany. With backing from the North American Union, the North American Union and UK declared war on Germany. The Qing dynasty soon declared war on the NAU and UK for attacking their German allies, despite being in a war with Japan. The world was now at war, besides Africa and South America.
In Asia, the Japanese had major success in the Qing dynasty and had taken Manchuria. Just as the war reached the UK and NAU, Japan would be pushed back by the Qing horde. Because Seoul was a big city, it took too long to capture, besides there being no army there. The Japanese launched a counterattack against the Qing dynasty and encircled the units attacking Seoul, which had no effect because remember, soldiers don't eat. When Seoul was taken, Japan was pushed back out of Korea. After yelling at Japan in letters to ally them, Japan finally allied the NAU and the UK. In Europe, Germany had made 10,000 tanks, which would all invade through Belgium, losing in the war, into British-occupied France, fully kicking them out of the last city. Normandy would fall, and the rest of the tanks would eventually commence Operation Auto-Capture, but failed when invading the mainland to submarines. The North American Union, however, finally came as a saving grace with 19,000 tanks, which all sunk instantly to one German submarine. Back in Asia, the North American Navy was halfway through the Pacific, while minor landings in Japan were being made. In Europe, North America this time brought in 25,000 tanks, which were escorted by a frigate. As the landing was being commenced, an infantry brigade would suicide attack the tanks, which had fully reverted the landing process and made the process restart. Back to Asia, after another port raid on China, Japan had stated that their ships were frozen or stuck. China used this to their advantage to land in Japan, which came with little resistance, but were hard once again as cities with high population were hard to capture despite having no soldiers. Eventually, when Qing took Osaka and moved up to Tokyo, the North American Navy arrived and shore bombarded Qing, as if the earth wasn't spherical. America will go on to land 5 million soldiers and 3,000 tanks and win the Battle of Tokyo, pushing all the way to Osaka and out of Japan in the final battle of Nagasaki, where the Qing leader would make an American nuking joke. In Europe, as American tanks landed, they came across 15,000 tanks. These tanks would immediately die, as the North Americans had researched 5 forms of tank firepower and 5 forms of tank defense in 2 nanoseconds, after having points in the research field. The Great Invasion of Germany had began to conquer Germany. As well as the UK had landed 4,000 tanks in Calais and would commence Operation Auto-Capture. With no resistance, the Germans were pushed back to the heartland of Germany, where they met 5,000 tanks, this time harder from the North Americans, to defeat, as Germany used points in research to find one form of tank defense. However, lost, and as Berlin was taken. All of Russia faced fire, and all German occupied lands were burned as the German leader vanished, ending the war in Europe. Back in Asia, North America made landings in Korea with little to low resistance. It was at Pyongyang when another 8 million Qing soldiers were winning the battle. However, as Japan's stability dropped and no one protested, North America was sending another 8 million soldiers. The Qing leader, Jake 2012842, would send a letter to the NAU leader, Inrush, and the two would come to a peace, as they saw the war was pointless, despite 30 million dead officially, marking the end of the Third World War.